a fire hose of knowledge. And with me are two of the most amazing trainers I've met when it comes to generating wealth. So right there with the Bay Bridge in the background is Robert Allen. Robert, what's going on there? Are you in where are you right now?
Actually, I'm at home. That's a background
Helicopter.
screen.
What?
But I love San Francisco. My wife was raised right there, and so we love San Francisco.
So I'm gonna do a proper introduction to Robert later on, but just know this: in 1998, I read Robert's books, Multiple Stream of Income, and that book completely transformed my life. It encouraged me to become an entrepreneur. Robert is going to be giving you a deep dive in how to make money with real estate. Now, the person there in the orange shirt with whatever the heck country is behind him, Alfio, you picked the most obscure photo. That is Alfio Bardolla. So I attended Alfio's event in Rimini, Italy in March this year. And it was a 3-day event in Italian. So imagine I'm there with headphones, listening to translators translate Alfio from Italian to English. And I was blown away by what I learned from day trading to investing to making money with real estate. It helped me make better decisions in terms of how I utilize my money. So let's talk about money for a moment. We spend so much of our lives earning a living, right? We work so hard for our money, but the wrong decision can cause that money to vanish. And I've made many of those wrong decisions. The right decisions can cause these money to turn into almost like a golden goose and deliver even more money to you year by year by year. But to understand right versus wrong decisions, there are 3 domains you got to step into. The first domain is real estate. You got to understand how to utilize money to create the greatest return in terms of giving you a roof around your head, giving you a place to be in, but at the same time, being able to generate wealth through that real estate. And as you're about to learn from Robert Allen, it isn't as simple as it looks, because wrong decisions in real estate, for example, buying a home too early can actually cost you money in the long run. Now, the second aspect is trading, stocks, Forex, crypto. Where do you put your money when it comes to trading? How do you have a diversified strategy? If you trade wrong, if there's an event like the 2008 recession, you could lose a lot of your hard-earned money. But if you're able to understand things such as diversifying your asset portfolio, knowing exactly when to buy and when to sell, knowing how to do concepts like value investing, knowing what to avoid and what to actually pay attention to, you can make incredible income by leveraging your money in trading. And the third thing to understand is how to build a stream of income that is a passive business that's making money for you as you sleep. In fact, that's how I started. Robert's book, Multiple Streams of Income, put me on that path. So right now in the chat box, I see we have 2,600 people live with us. What I want you to do in the chat box is write down what brought you to this event, if you're open to sharing. Okay, so you may say, hi, my name is John. I'm from Mexico City. I'm here because ... What brought you here? And I'm going to invite our guests, Robert and Alfio, to check the chat so we get a sense of who is here. So Laurie says, I'm educating myself on investing and growing my income. Tammy says, I'm 57 and nowhere ready for retirement. Martin says, I'm here to learn how to make my money multiply. Juliet said, I opened a new gallery along the New King's Road in London. Great. So that's a business and you want to figure out how to generate income from that business, then how to actually use the income. And so, as you can see, the audience here is from all around the world, and we'll have more people trick, right?
Yeah.
What did you say, Robert?
Czechoslovakia, Spain, all over the world. It's incredible where all your fans are all over the world, Vishen.
Yeah. So let's get started. So what we're going to talk about is the secrets on investing and amplifying your wealth, right? Now, why should you care about creating wealth now more than ever? As I said earlier, we've all worked hard to generate our business. Just like you, there was a time when I saved and slogged just so I could buy a home, so that when I became a father, I knew that my son was growing up in a home that we owned as a family. But in the world today, there's so much disruption happening. Some people are saying that we're about to go into a bull run. Others are saying that we're about to go into a recession. There are two massive wars right now affecting the Western world: Israel-Palestine and Russia-Ukraine. How are these wars going to affect our economy? AI and artificial intelligence is transforming the world at a crazy rapid pace. And lots of jobs are going to be disrupted. But at the same time, a lot of people are going to become extremely wealthy from leveraging AI. So with all of these great unknowns, we are getting into a state of the world where it's more important than ever to be educated. Now, I wasn't educated with money because no one taught me this, and I made a lot of dumb mistakes. So this past year, it started out in March when I was in Rimini, Italy, attending Alfio Bardolla's conference on money, and Robert Allen was there. Robert was the main speaker. I learned that I had made some dumb mistakes in the past 15 years. Now, I want to share just really quickly two of these mistakes with you, because I believe by sharing my mistakes, I can save you from making the same mistake. So the first mistake is this. In 2012, I put down money to buy an apartment. And I was trying to decide between putting money in the stock market or buying an apartment. Now, I believed back then that buying a home was a mark of success, that every man, every woman had to be able to own their own home because it showed that you were providing for your family. My dad saved up to buy his home, and I believed that I needed to buy my home. So when I was in Rimini, I remember seeing Alfio on stage, and he made a very interesting comment. And Alfio is going to go deeper into it. He said, in my company, now Alfio, of course, said this in his Italian accent. As you're going to hear earlier, Alfio's got this really cool Italian accent. So he said something along the lines of, in my company, when somebody buys a home, we do not applaud them. In fact, we ask them, what the hell? Why did you do that? So I was really puzzled by this. Buying a home is not good advice. And then I did the math. I realized that the down payment that I put into my home, plus the interest I then paid on my mortgage, if I had rented my home and instead put that money into my favorite stock at the time, which would have been Apple, or even put it in what is called an index fund, more on that later, I would have made $1 million extra today. If I had rented rather than bought, I would have made an extra $1 million today. I was operating based on cultural programming and emotion, but not based on math and actual aptitude when it comes to multiplying money. Me buying a home actually cost me $1 million. And when you hear Robert Allen speak, you're going to understand why. You're going to understand when to know, you're going to understand how to make that decision, when to rent, when to buy. And if you're buying a home, why certain things matter, where to buy, what to buy, how to buy. It's not as simple as you think. But this knowledge, which you're going to learn in just a matter of hours from Robert Allen, could add $1 million to your bank account 1 year from now, if you do it right. Now, when I bought my home, I put down a down payment of $128,000. That's not much. That's a pretty decent amount. $128,000. Very, very, very average, right? But that $128,000, if I hadn't put it down as a down payment, but had simply bought Apple stock, I would have had 1.6 million today. Now, when you do the math and you look at down payments, mortgages, and you put this all in an Excel sheet, you will see how much of a mistake it could be to buy a home. Now, my second mistake had to do with trading. So I opened up a bank account, and the first thing that my bank told me is, hey, we have a mutual fund. This is where we have these incredible stock pickers, and they know exactly what stocks to buy. And if you put money in this mutual fund, we are going to make sure that your money grows. So I said, sign me up. And I put $500,000, what I'd saved up to then, in a mutual fund. What I didn't realize is this. Mutual funds were almost banned in 2003 by the US Congress because they are essentially a scam. They make money for the bank, but not for you. Yet, the vast majority of Americans, over 50% of Americans, have some of their money in a mutual fund. Now, Let me explain why mutual funds, many people call them a scam. Mutual funds have hidden fees. Their brochures may say they take 1 or 2%. That sounds small. But if the stock market is growing by an average of 8 percentage points, okay, every year, 1 or 2% takes you from 8 to 6. But mutual funds also have hidden fees. There's typically, so I checked this. I messaged my bank and I said, could you lay out all the fees for me other than what the brochure says? And sure enough, there were additional 2% hidden fees. Therefore, out of 8% growth, they were taking away 4%. If I had $500,000 in a mutual fund and this $500,000 was growing by 8% year on year, so what is that? That is $40,000 a year, right? They were taking $20,000 a year from me. Now this adds up. At the end of 30 years, 2/3 of your gains are eaten up by the mutual fund. 2/3 of your gains. Most Americans don't know this. You shouldn't be buying a mutual fund. You should be doing a low-cost index fund, such as Vanguard. Now, here's the other really damning thing. Only 4% of mutual funds beat the market. Literally, if you'd have monkeys throwing darts at stocks, they are more likely to outperform mutual funds. Monkeys throwing darts at stocks outperform mutual funds. You can look this up. 94% of mutual funds underperform. Sorry, 96% of mutual funds underperform the market. That was my second big mistake. So I took all my money out of mutual funds and I put it in an index fund. I looked at 2 index funds, QQQ, and then the Vanguard index fund. And we can talk about those later. Those were some dumb mistakes I made that cost me millions of dollars. And I realized that literally this year. I wish I'd realized this 20 years back. I'd have millions more income saved up for my children, for my family, for my legacy. It's never too late to learn how to utilize money and how to make your money grow so that you can take care of your family, and the hard-earned income that you make, you can actually make that multiply, and you can perhaps even have enough money saved up for retirement. But there are many things that most of us don't know because the world often isn't acting in our interest. Mutual funds certainly aren't. And in many cases, your banks certainly aren't. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you you're going to drink from a fire hose. You're going to have some incredible education. And I want you to stay till the end, because at the end, just as a thank you for staying with us for 2 hours, we're going to give you a special gift. Okay. Just as a thank you for trusting in us. We know you have family, we know you have work. There are 3,000 people live with us right now, and we want to thank you for being here till the end. Now, let's talk about our first guest speaker, Robert Allen. Robert is one of the most influential investment advisors of all time. He wrote the book, Nothing Down, How to Buy Real Estate with Little or No Money Down. And that book got him on Fox News. Fox News literally told Robert, Robert made a claim, put me in any city in the world, give me $100. And within 3 days, I will own at least 2 properties. Can you imagine that? With no money down. So Fox News took him up on the challenge. They dropped him into San Francisco. They put a reporter with him. They gave him nothing more than $100. At the end of 3 days, Robert, how many properties did you own?
7. 7 properties. It took me 3 days.
Properties, right? And that $100, how much of that $100 did you use?
I used 80. I gave $20 back to the reporter in change.
Okay, now that sounds crazy, but you're going to learn how to do this. Now, one of Robert's students was a man by the name of Robert Kiyosaki. Remember, Robert has been teaching since the early 90s. Kiyosaki was listening to Robert, and Kiyosaki publicly said this, and he told his wife, I want you to do what this man is doing and start buying property for no money down. Robert Kiyosaki's wife, went on to buy 6,000 pieces of property, 6,000 homes. They made millions of dollars from that. Kiyosaki today is one of the greatest traders in wealth. He wrote the book Cash Flow Quadrant and so on, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That he learned from Robert Allen. Now, Robert Allen also wrote books, The Road to Wealth, Multiple Streams of Income for New Millennials, and for the new millennium. And I'd like to invite Robert Allen on stage. Robert, welcome to Mindvalley.
Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me? I hope you can.
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Thank you. Welcome, the Mindvalley family. You want to be wealthy in all areas of your life. And when it comes to money, this is what we want to talk about today. How do you become rich, wealthy, successful, prosperous, so you can create wealth in your life and create a legacy, as Visha was talking about. All of us want to do that. What my goal here today in the very short time that I have is to change your mindset about that. Some people don't like money, or they don't like people with money because they think people with money have done something illegal or immoral or unethical. And in the millionaires that I know, they are some of the most giving, most fundamentally basic, foundational people that I know. They're charitable. They want to make the world a better place. So we want to talk about how you can make your world a better place, how you can make the people around you more prosperous, your family, and for generations of your family, so you can become financially free. So I'm going to share my screen with you, if that's okay. Here we go. Yep, that's me. And these are the books that I've written, and they have sold millions of copies all around the world. And Vishen talks about how wonderfully successful I am these days, but it wasn't always this way. And each of you has a story. Your story starts off with you probably not having very much and then figuring out how to be more successful. So my story is very similar. I started off with a book. Have you ever read a book that's changed your life? Well, this was the book that I picked off a library shelf, and I said, that seems like something I want to do. I want to think and grow rich. If you don't have this book in your library, you should. It talks about 13 principles of wealth and desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, decision, organized planning, persistence. These 13 principles are fundamental to any kind of success in your life. And so that kind of started me on the path for me personally in my early 20s. And then I went to the funeral of my brother-in-law. He died at 42. He was very wealthy. He was a multimillionaire in real estate. And I was just a young man, and I was looking through his library, and I picked a copy of this book out of his library. It's How I Turned $1,000 into $5 million in real estate. And I thought to myself, well, that's a good idea. I had about $1,000 at that time myself, but I didn't do anything about it. In fact, I'd never have read this book. All I read was the cover of this book. And though I said to myself, well, one of these days I'll do so. And so I went to school, got my degree at the university. I graduated and I sent out my application to 30 companies around the world: General Foods, General Electric, General Mills. Generally, every company I sent a letter to sent me back a rejection letter. And I remember sitting on my bed, laying out all 30 of these letters on my twin bed in my apartment with no hope for the future. Nobody's willing to hire me. What am I going to do? And I remembered those two books that I had seen. I'd read Think and Grow Rich. I'd read the cover of the How I Turned $1,000 into $1 Million. And I looked at these people who had written these letters to me on all laid out on my bed. And I said to myself, and this is what an entrepreneur says: when you finally become an entrepreneur, when somebody tells you can't do something, eventually you say, watch me. I'm going to prove them wrong. And I said that day, one day I'll earn more money than all these 30 people who signed these letters to me combined, which I have now done. But back then, when I had no money and I had $1,000 that my dad had given me as a graduation present, I had the 1,000. So I just started to do what everybody would do. I started without a job, without any experience, without any credit, without any assets. So I had $10,000 in debt and $1,000 that my dad had given me. But I had a secret. The secret is somebody in my church group was a multi-millionaire. And I said, he's a good person. He's honest, he's ethical, he's friendly, maybe he would be a mentor to me. And so Paul became my mentor. And he showed me how to go through the walls of my fear, because all of us have fear at the very beginning of our lives when it comes to expanding out and creating some success. Fear stops almost all of us. and it was stopping me. And so I said, Paul, what should I do? And he showed me how to buy my first property. And this is my first property. And it was a simple, small duplex located right across from the street from Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah, a small little community. And that's where I got started. And with just that 1,000, no job, no credit, no cash flow, no assets, no nothing but debt. So I want you to know that if you have those characteristics about you, you can start where you are right now. You can create some success starting, and I'm going to show you how today. Now, I went online to buy 12-unit apartment buildings, an abandoned university. I bought the whole university. Went on to create my fortune. In 3.5 years later, I was a millionaire. And so I know that all of you can do this. It's possible for you. I've been teaching this for the last 40 years because not only do I make money from all kinds of multiple streams, but I love teaching people how to go from a place where I was to show how you can go from that place to where you want to go. But why do we want to do it now? Why now? Well, the word why is a very interesting question. Why do you want to do this? What's important to you that makes you decide that you want to invest the time to be on this webinar right now? And maybe you want to come to the 3-day event we're going to be holding in London here in a few weeks. You don't want to miss that, because at an event like this, it could transform to you. You need the fun time in our society. Well, you remember what happened with COVID-19. It was a wake-up call. It woke us up to the fact that we have to do something. And this is Alfio's event that I spoke at a few months ago. He calls it the wake-up call. You're going to hear Alfio in a minute. He's going to share with you some powerful secrets about business and powerful secrets about how to trade. He has an event that's called the wake-up call because we all need to wake up, because we're blindsided constantly. We've got a war going on. It just started a week ago. We got the pandemics. We got the climate changes. We got the AI.
Recording in progress.
We can't. There were major wars. There were pandemics throughout from 1900 to the year 2000. There were depressions. There were terrible things going on constantly. But in the middle of that century, in the middle of all the tragic things that were taking place, people were creating fortunes because they were not sidetracked by the news. The news will constantly distract you. You have to make a decision. I want to be financially free, and I'm going to do it regardless of what's going on all around me, because sometimes the things that are going around you can make you rich. People during the pandemic, there were a lot of people who were losing their business, but there were huge fortunes made during the pandemic. And so you have to make the decision that regardless of what's going on around you, you're going to make it happen, because life can change overnight. You need to generate multiple streams of income. You need to make money while you sleep. You need to think like an entrepreneur. We all of us need side hustles. And so what's your side hustle going to be? That thing you do on the side. If you're an employee, employees work their entire lives, and they what an employee is? It's a person who makes small, slow money. You retire, you make a little money now, but you retire in 40, 50 years, and you get 40% of what they were paying you. That's not wealth. An entrepreneur, they don't want to make small, slow money. They want to make big, fast money. And so in 5 years from now, literally from this day, from what you hear my voice, you can be financially free. We'll show you lots of ways of doing it. But you've been told lies about this. You've been told that it takes money to make money, that it's too complicated, that it takes a lifetime to create wealth, that it's not the right time to buy real estate. Oh, is that a big one? So many people, it's not the right time. People who say it's not the right time to buy real estate, they're thinking with the stock market mentality. Real estate is not the stock market. Real estate has its own market. And so when times are bad, it's the best time to buy real estate. So they'll say, it doesn't work in my country. Robert, you're from America. It doesn't work in Afghanistan. It doesn't work in Japan. It doesn't work in Spain. It doesn't work in Italy. Are you kidding? What I'm going to teach you today works in every country in the world where real estate is available for people to buy and sell on an open marketplace. I'm too busy. Are you too busy working at a job that you don't like? Going every day to get your paycheck and come home and feed your family? Is there no time left over for a little side hustle on the side? You've got to do that. You have to spend at least an hour a day building a future rather than getting stuck in the present in a job you don't like. So lots of lies. And the biggest lie of all is that it takes money to make money, which means, according to what people say, if you don't have money, you can't make money. Well, when I wrote my book, Nothing Down, as Vishen talked about, I said, send me to any city, take away my wallet, give me a $100 bill, and in 72 hours, I'll buy an excellent piece of real estate using none of my own money. What? Is that possible? Well, it wasn't Fox News. It was actually the Los Angeles Times, even scarier, frankly, because Fox is kind of a conservative leaning, but the Los Angeles Times is not conservative. And they said, okay, Robert, we see you've been running an ad in our newspaper saying that you can take somebody, you could go to a city. So we're going to send you to one of the toughest cities to buy real estate. We're going to send you to San Francisco. And there you are. And we're going to take away your wallet and we're going to give you $5 $20 bills. If you haven't bought a property in 72 hours, we're going to plaster it all over the front pages of our newspaper. You're a fraud. You're a liar. Doesn't work. Well, was I ready to take that challenge? Yeah, you might think I might have been really confident, but frankly, I was terrified. Why? Because I was risking my entire future on this one 3-day experience, 72 hours. I was all in. And I want to try to tell you that that is an attitude you must develop. Most people are not all in. They're dabbling. You cannot dabble your way to wealth. You have to make a decision. Now is the time. I'm going for it. I'm going to make it happen. I got to go all in. And so I did. And well, what happened? Well, here is me on the front page of the financial section of the Los Angeles Times saying buying home without cash, boastful investor, that's me, accepts Times challenge and wins. Now I used a system to buy 7 properties in 57 hours. Here are the pictures of them, 7 properties. And I gave the reporter $20 back in change. I was able to live in San Francisco and buy 7 properties. So when I tell you, you can do this, I'm trying to be the poster boy for you. I did it. But what did I have that you probably don't have? You may not have a lot of cash, credit, whatever, but I had knowledge. I had internal wealth. You see, wealth is not what you think it is. You know, people say we want to have resources. We need the resources. The banker wants resources. The banker wants us to have cash. How much cash down payment do you have? Cash flow. How much money are you making on a monthly basis? Credit. Is your credit rating good? Do you have a lot of assets? How rich are you? Show us how rich you are. We'll lend money to you. That's where it takes money to make money lie comes from. It comes from the financial institutions that are all over the place. But what is real wealth? Real wealth is resourcefulness. It's the 4 C's of the entrepreneur. It's courage, which I had, which is commitment. I was all in, which is creativity and character. These are the 4 C's of the real true entrepreneur. You are your wealth. If you have these things inside you, you don't have to have any assets outside you, but it all starts from inside you. And I want to if you learn from nothing else that I say today, that you have it already. You can create starting from where you are, but you have to have courage. You got to go all in. You got to be able to think creatively and think outside the box. That's exactly what we're talking about. And so repeat this out loud. I will never say, I can't afford it. I will never say that. Why? Because if you're resourceful, there is always a way. It's called creative financing. And you can creatively find a creative solution to the situation. For example, here's Charmaine Royce in the UK. She finds this is a piece of a hotel. It's got 17 rooms in it. And she says, well, I can't afford to buy it. but is there a way that maybe I could kind of get started in the game? You know, can I rent it out some? Can I purchase lease option it? That's a PLO. It's a former hotel, 17 suite annex in Southeast London. The owner was retiring. The owner's firm on the price. No, 900K is what I want. So she negotiated a 5-year purchase lease option with an option to buy it at $900,000, which is what the seller wanted. He was stuck on the price. She says, that's fine. Just let me have an option on it. She exercised her option. It's now worth $1.3 million. She makes $400,000 without buying the property. So, you know, there's just solutions like this. There's hundreds of ways of looking at real estate you never even thought of before. Here's an example of a title split in Germany. This is an apartment building that gets cut up into to properties that each person can now own their apartment. Now, this is done all over the world. This is Bernard's solution. He finds a 28-unit apartment block. You know, it says that this was a nothing down deal. This was not a nothing down deal. This was not. The purchase price is 2.4 million. After he splits it up into pieces, now it's worth $3 million. So he's got equity that he earns there. He funds it by a $2.5 million mortgage, and he puts $100,000 cash in his pocket at the closing. In other words, he didn't put any money down. He actually got $100,000 out. And his annual profit from this is 70,000 euros. So, you know, I just want you to just open your mind to the possibility that you, starting where you're at, you could find a way for you to make this work for you. The lie number 2 is it's just too complicated. You need to be a genius at this stuff. I can tell you, Vishen is a genius, but he made some stupid mistakes that he explained to you here today. In terms of what he's done with Mindvalley, genius, really. And it's changing the lives of millions of people around the world. But we all need to learn lessons, but they don't have to be complicated. You know, when I teach people about real estate skills, there are 3 skills you need. And if you read any book on real estate anywhere in the world, it all boils down to these 3 fundamental skills. How do I find the deals? You can go shopping for deals. You don't have to have money to shop. If you can go to Tiffany's and look at diamonds, you don't have to afford them. At least you can dream. And so you need to be looking constantly for deals, because every once in a while you stumble across a deal. And then the second skill is using the nothing down techniques. I call it 50 nothing down techniques. You learn how to fund the deals that you find. And then what does it mean to farm? Well, I like to use the analogy of a farm. When I'm buying real estate, it's a farm essentially. I could take that farm and improve it really quickly, and I could sell it quickly, and I make a chunk of cash. That's the way I could turn a farm into money for me. Or I could keep the farm and I could plant crops on that farm and I could earn cash flow from that farm. Well, an apartment building is just a farm. It has 10 chunks, 10 little chunks of land that are rented out to people. And those people are paying, you know, profits to you every single month. That's cash flow. And if it's profitable, if it's after you pay all your expenses, it's streams of income that flow into your life. That apartment building can be managed by somebody else. You pay them a fee to manage it, so you don't have to ever fix a toilet in your life. You can have somebody else do all that work for you, and it can be done to generate streams of cash for you. You have a single family home, that's 1 stream. You have a duplex, that's 2 streams. You have a 10-unit apartment, that's 10 streams. You have 100 units, that's 100 streams. I want you to have multiple streams of real estate income, in addition to other ways of making money that Alfio is going to talk about. Once you learn these fundamental skills, it's not hard. Well, what do I mean by finding? Finding what? Well, 1 to 3% of all the properties that are listed in your city right now, 1 to 3%, are owned by highly motivated sellers who don't want their real estate. This is a fundamental basis of the entire process I'm trying to teach you about creative financing. Because when a person is highly motivated to sell, they're not necessarily needing the things that you think they need. Do they need cash? Well, maybe they don't need cash. Maybe they bought another house in another city. And now they own the home they're going to move into, but they now have two homes and they have two mortgage payments. And now they've got a mortgage payment on a vacant home that could be damaged by vandals. They're terrified. Well, what am I going to do? Rather than selling it for cash, since they've already invested in the next property, maybe they take cash flow. Maybe they take a monthly payment instead of a down payment. Maybe they'd sell it to you for little or no money down, and they end up earning streams of income. Now, if they put their money in a bank, well, it'd earn tiny streams of income, a half of 1% or 1%. You can offer them 6, 7, 8%. And therefore, they're earning 20 times more money on the money they would earn if the money was stuck in a bank. You can show ways why a seller could accept your offer because it makes sense to the seller, especially if they're a highly motivated seller. So I call these people don't wanters. This is a don't wanter. It's not grammatically correct, but that's what I call them. A don't wanter is a person who don't want their property. And there are a lot of reasons why people don't want their property. This is an acronym called don't wanter conditions. You see on the left-hand side of the screen there: divorce, the property's obsolete, negative cash flow, transfer, wrong management. Down there at the bottom, you can see that having an ornery partner, a partner that doesn't like you and you don't like them. Partnerships can go bad, and especially when they're owned by real estate sellers. So, for example, here's a property that Grant bought, and here it is. It's 13-unit apartment building. The sellers are having an argument that day when Grant showed up to do some research. He was just fundamentally looking, and he finds that the partners are arguing. And he said, "Do you guys want to sell?" Now, they hadn't been willing to sell for 20 years, but on that day, they wanted to sell. And he said, "What price would you like? What do you need?" And they mentioned a price that Grant knew was low. He knew it because he was researching this area. He knew that this was a good deal. And so he looked at his own financial circumstances. He said, "Do I have the down payment for this? It's going to take $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 as a down payment." He looked in his bank account. There's not $100,000 there. Does his credit, would it qualify for a mortgage? No, it doesn't. In other words, he can't qualify to buy this property, but he did. How did he do it? He wrote an offer and he said, "I'll give you $1,000. Let's get started. Here's $1,000 to what price you want. I'll give you exactly the price you want. Just be a little more flexible with me. I'm going to put a small down payment to tie it up to we call it in America, earnest money." So now he has a signed contract from the sellers of this property with exactly what they want: cash. All cash. He finds a wealthy investor. He'd been networking and he found somebody who had that kind of money. And he said to the seller, or to the buyer, his buyer, "I found a deal for you. It's awesome. It's incredible. I've tied it up. Here's the contract. I've signed it. But it gives me the option to transfer it to anybody I want to. Write me a $7,000 check and I'll let you have this piece of paper." And so he flips a piece of paper on a property that he has tied up, and therefore, without any money on his own, he doesn't have any cash or credit or anything. He pockets $7,000 in profit. In other words, that's what in America, we call it wholesaling. Is finding a property, tying it up as wholesale, and selling it at retail. Some of you might say, "Well, but I don't have any money. I don't have any cash. I don't have any credit." Were you listening to what I was just talking about? Grant didn't have any of these things either. People make huge money in wholesaling. It doesn't have to be done it can be done anywhere in the world, is what I'm trying to tell you. Well, how do you find these don't wanters? There's just dozens of ways. And when we get together in London at our 3-day event, it's on the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th of November. You don't want to miss this, because we're going to go deep on all of this information. But let me give you an example of what I mean by one way. I call it creating a buying farm. What is that? It means you choose a territory in your city that's close to a university, close to maybe a factory, an office building, a shopping, somewhere that's a great high demand area. And you select a 2 kilometer square area, and you just say, in this 2 kilometer square area, there are maybe 1,000, 2,000 properties. You say to yourself, I'm going to own some of that property, because you become an expert in that area. You drive through it regularly. You see for sale signs, you stop and ask them, what do you want? What do you need? And most of the time, of all these hundreds of properties that year that'll come up for sale, most of them are not flexible. They're not highly motivated. Only 1 or 2%, maybe 3% will become highly motivated to sell. So if you're looking at 100 properties in that year, you'll find one. One of them will say, yeah, get me out of this thing. And they'll mention a price that you know, because you're an expert in that area now, you'll know that that's low. So what can you do? Well, there's a dozen ways of making money when you learn that information. You just have to be willing to pick a target territory and shop in that area, even if you don't have the money to afford it. So my first million came from doing exactly this. I bought 5 properties in a 2 kilometer square area of my city, and that made me a millionaire. I bought a 12-unit apartment building, single family homes, duplexes. And these 5 properties made me a fortune. What I'm trying to say is, when I started off, I had no money. 3 years later, I had $1 million from my buying farm. Now, line number 3 is it takes a lifetime to create wealth. That's not true. Fox did challenge me. They said, we don't believe you, Robert, that you can create millionaires. So you can come on our show. You said you've created hundreds and hundreds of millions, actually thousands of millionaires by this time. But I said, let me bring 101 of my millionaires on your show. I'll prove it to you. And they said, bring them. So they flew on their own dime to come to New York City to go on to the Fox News channel, television station. There was so many of our millionaires there, we couldn't fit them all into the station, into the show. Some of them had to stay outside and watch through the window as we were on that show. Here I am. This is Fox News, America's the #1 business show in America. Here I am with the host of the show. He's amazing, Neil Cavuto. And here I am with many of our 101 millionaires. Each one of them made millions in different ways. This couple right here were fired from their jobs in January of the year before. Fired. What are they going to do? Should we go back and get another job and have another insecure situation in our life? Or should we just go create $1 million? Should we just become millionaires? Robert has been teaching us. We'll just do what Robert told us to do. And so they used the information that's found in all my information. I worked with them personally to make $1 million. And it didn't happen quickly. It took 4 months and 9 days. 4 months and 9 days. And do you think they ever got a job again? Did they ever work for anybody else again? No. They're entrepreneurs. They'll never go back to the corporate world. Never. Now, I wrote a book called The 1 Minute Millionaire. Is it possible to make $1 million in a minute? Well, the stories from this book to create the fictional side of the story. This is a 2-sided book. One side is the fictional story of a woman who needs to make $1 million in 90 days. The other side is the left brain. How would you make $1 million if you wanted to make $1 million in 90 days? So it's a left brain, right brain book, but all of the examples in the fictional side, the story side, are examples that Karen Nelson Bell and her husband Duncan, that they used in that 4-month and 9-day period of time. It's real examples of real people making real money. Although you read it as a fictional tale, it's real. And then when I said to Karen, you need to write a book with me. You need my co-author. Do you know why? Because 3 years later, after they made their millions, Duncan died. As a young man, he's 50 plus. He dies. And so she had to kind of reorganize her entire life. This was a sudden storm that happened in her life. Everybody has sudden storms. Do you imagine what it would have been like if 3 years earlier they'd gone back to get a job and he dies and she now has to live on half the money? I mean, it would have been a disaster. So she shows women how to do this, a powerful book for women. This is a woman who said, I want to do Bob's plan. I'm going to follow it. I'm going to buy as he says, buy 2 properties a year for 10 years. And this is exactly what I say in this book, Creating Wealth. To buy 2 properties a year for 10 years? Yeah, let's do that. So that's exactly what I did. I taught her, and she did it. Now, it just so happens that this exact same book dropped into the hands, as Vishen was talking about, into the hands of Robert Kiyosaki. Before he wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he read Creating Wealth. Now, I'm not going to take full credit, of course. He's a very smart guy. He's a business person. He's done lots of trainings. He coached lots of people. But I was just in India with him 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks in India. And we spent a fabulous 10 days together as he shared his wisdom with the people in India, 4,000 people. And one of those people in India was a person who brought me to India and Robert Kiyosaki to India, who was raised in a slum in India and then went to Canada and created a fortune in Canada. He was the slumdog millionaire, and but the real slumdog millionaire. And so Robert was able to corroborate, of course, the fact that it was my book, Creating Wealth. As we were talking to an audience in Japan in 2018, there's 11,000 people there. He says to all of them, we read Robert's book, Creating Wealth, over 30 years ago. Following Robert's real estate plan, my wife Kim bought 20 properties in only 18 months. We now own 6,900 properties. So I want you to have a story like that. Now, line number 4, as we close up my segment here, is it doesn't work in my country. It doesn't work in my city. Of course it does. Here's Japan. Here's a guy who was in this park. We were at a business dinner, a lunch, and he pointed over to the park. This is the picture I took from that day. And he said, I was homeless in that park. I was homeless. And a friend of mine said, you need to go to a used bookstore and start reading books. I went to a used bookstore and bought Robert's book, Multiple Streams of Income. And now I'm a multimillionaire. And now he's my business partner in Japan. And he's written his own books. So there are stories like this with people who read my books. This is another millionaire from Japan. This is the slumdog millionaire from Canada. After I took your seminar in Toronto, I bought 77 properties in less than a year, and became a multimillionaire. And then eventually invited me, paid my way to go to India because of his gratitude for what I was able to do for him. One of the guys who was in a millionaire's room was from San Salvador in South America. I've got millionaires all over the world. Here he is. And here's another gentleman from Malaysia. Actually, Vishen launched Mindvalley from Malaysia. But right there in Malaysia, here is the book that he wrote with his wife, Start from Zero, 3 years to 10 million ringgits in property and portfolio. That's about $2 million US. So I'm trying to say to you by these quick examples that nobody can say they're in a country where this does not work. Here's Italy. And you're going to hear from Alfio in just a minute. Alfio is one of the most successful people that I know. But he came to my home in 2006 and knocked on my door. And he said, Robert, I want you to be a mentor for me. Just like when I started from zero, I went to my mentor, Paul, and I said, Paul, will you mentor me? Alfio rang my doorbell. He went all in. He risked himself to come to America. And I taught him many things. Of course, he's so hungry for knowledge. He's learned from everybody. He is unbelievable. I love Alfio, and you're going to learn from him. You're going to learn so much from him. But once again, I've had an influence on a lot of these people. Here's someone from Singapore. Here he is right there, and amongst this group I'm teaching. And he writes me a letter a few years later. He says, I was attending your program 7 years ago, and I was bankrupt. And now I own 30 properties. I have 100 million a month in passive income. That's about 20,000 US dollars, and a million every 3 months. He wrote his book, From Bankruptcy to Multimillions in 7 years. You can do this. If you come away with anything I'm teaching you today, you need to touch yourself at heart level, and you can say to yourself, I can do this. I can do this. This is one of my favorite stories. I'm in South Africa teaching with Sir Richard Branson, and a lady comes up to me and she says, I didn't come here for Richard Branson. I came here for you because in Nigeria, somebody gave me a copy of your book, Nothing Down. It was photocopied. It wasn't the actual book. Somebody had copied every page of it. She says, I read the book. I made a fortune in real estate. I'm now teaching other women how they can rise out of poverty. So there are stories like this that have transformed people's lives. Vishen shared with you that it was just the fact that this book shared with him the thought that he didn't have to work for somebody else. He trained in college to become somebody else's employee, but he said, you know what? I want to become an entrepreneur. And then just that thought opened up his mind to so many other things. I do believe Vishen is a genius. I really do. But sometimes a genius needs to learn other things too. And therefore, I think you need to join the group with Vishen. He's working with myself and with Alfio. We're coaching him personally. We're his mentors. We want to be your mentors. And we want to teach you at this event on the 17th, 18th, and 19th of November in London. Now, if you can't come to London, or you get a chance to meet us physically and shake our hands, we can autograph our books for you, then join virtually. You're going to spend 3 days with us. I guarantee during those 3 days, it'll change your life. Now, there's only one final thought I want to share with you, and that is, don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. Eventually, even if it's a bad time, even if it doesn't seem like the real estate is all that good, just wait. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. You buy 2 properties a year for 10 years. Just wait. You'll be a millionaire. You'll be set for life. And so I share with you that thought for everybody here today. I turn the time over to the other great speakers here today, but just this thought, I challenge you. Follow your intuition. Does your intuition tell you? As a Mindvalley student, you should know about intuition. Does your intuition tell you you should be there on the 17th, 18th, and 19th? Did your intuition tell you should be here today? And follow your intuition. I'm looking forward to meeting you. I turn the time over to Vishen and to Alfio.
Thank you. Hey, Robert, thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here. And
thank you, Rob.
Yeah, can you hear me?
So Alfio,
yes, we hear you
perfectly. Alfio, I'm going to do a quick intro so people understand why I really wanted you to speak at this event and bring you on as a Mindvalley teacher. Give me a second to just quickly share my screen, Alfio. Okay, so remember the key message from Robert. Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. Okay, now our next speaker is Alfio Bardolla, and Alfio is going to be speaking to you about trading. So Alfio is a remarkable gentleman. I was meeting with him in Italy, and we were in Milan. And every day I was with this guy in Milan, somebody would stop Alfio on the street. Alfio always wears the same orange sweater. That's his hallmark. That's how people recognize him. Every day, someone would stop us on the street and go, and then they would start like talking to Alfio excitedly about how one of his ideas had changed the course of their life, right? And that's something I really respect about Alfio. Now, for those of you who are an American audience, please keep in mind, Alfio speaks with an Italian accent. I like to acknowledge that about our teachers. I really try to bring a diverse set of teachers from all around the world into Mindvalley, not just people from the US. You may have to pay a little bit closer attention because of his accent, but the Italian accent is probably one of the most gorgeous accents in the world. Take it away, Alfio.
Click on the slideshow, will you, Vishen? Click on slideshow so it gives a full. There we go.
Okay, perfect. Alfio, would you like me to control the slides for you?
Yes, your people are going to take control of the slides. So thank you very much for having me here. It's a big pleasure to share the video with Vishen and Robert. You know, it's like a dream, you know, because I was born in a very small city in the north of Italy with no money, with a family. My father was working at the rail train station. My mom was cooking pasta every day, so making homemade pasta. So, and I didn't have any opportunity to make money. I didn't have an opportunity to stay in a wealthy environment. So, and I was sure that if I can go to the university in Milano, I'm gonna become rich. I don't know why, but I was born in the front of rich people. So rich people was just across the street, and every day I get up and watching out from the window and seeing the difference between my life and their life. And you know, when you are 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, you don't really understand why this guy has a better home, they have a better car, better tennis rackets, better shoes. And you don't really realize things about money. But what I understood, I want to be like them. I want to be rich. So, and I don't know why, but in my mind there was a thought that was, if I'm gonna go to Milano and I'm gonna go to the university, I can become rich. So with this thought, I tried to go to Milano, but I have no money. I was good with the computer. I was a kind of nerd, many 35 years ago. So, and I started writing software for dentists, and I sell this software and I make some money enough to live in Milano, because with my dad wage, I cannot survive in Milano, because just the renting an apartment was more than half of his wage. So, and you know, I'm doing this job for almost 20 years. I own the largest financial education company in Europe. The company is publicly listed in Milano Stock Exchange, and teaching so many people about money, I discovered something, that the mind is the problem, because we always want to have the trick, looking for the trick to make money, but the reality, the trick is here in our mind. So we start, let's start thinking about money beliefs, and try to write down and try to figure out which one resonate with you, and write in the chat, because I'm seeing the chat. So for example, can you please go on with the slide? Yep.
Next slide, please.
Next. Yeah, I'm not seeing the slide. Okay, so the money beliefs, if we go to the next slide, okay, this is the first 6. Which one resonate with you? So like, no, money doesn't grow on trees. We need to have money in order to make money. Wealthy people are greedy. Which one they resonate more with you? Because the first, the 6th, the 4th, because it's very number 2, number 6. Okay, and you know, the great things about beliefs, it can be correct and can be wrong. There is not something it's okay, something is not okay, because a belief is just a belief. And if I'm watching properly, is most of the people say 6. So you have to work hard in order. Mi va un attimo indietro che non riesco a leggere che cazzo c'è scritto. You have to work hard to make money. And this is not true. This is not true, especially in this economy, because in this economy, you need to work smarter. You need to be a smarter guy. You need to work in a smart way, not in a hard way. The hard way was the way of our father, of our grandfather. But today, we need to understand how the money works and how the smart people make money easily and really fast. But try to think about this. If you think that you need to work very hard to make money, but you have a family, you have a child, you want to spend time with them, this belief is going to be in conflict. So I'm going to choose my family, or I'm going to choose my career making money. And this belief can be true, but can also be false. It depends on yourself. The reality is this. So more you understand about the belief system, how does it work, and we are going to work very hard in the first day in London about this. Let's go to the next slide. And I'm not good with money. I'm not smart enough. I must be like greedy. I must save all the pennies. And this is a big problem, because these are true for yourself, but can be also not true. Because once you understand how money works and you fix the money problems, money just flow to you in an automatic way. That's our goal. It's to help people to understand the psychology of money and use the psychology to make more money and become financially free. Because there are millions of people around the world that are rich. Think about that. 3% of the population are rich. So in Italy, we have 60 million people. So almost 1.8 million Italians are rich. And if you translate this into your country, if you are from Spain, Spain has 50 million, that means 1.5 million are rich. And remember, 80% of the population are first-time millionaire. So they didn't get from the wife, they didn't win the lottery, they made the money by themselves. And just 20% get the money from their family. So you should start to think differently about money. And for example, I'm too old to learn how to make money. And I see many people in the chat. I'm 57, I'm 62, and who cares? Money is a very democratic thing. You can be rich 15, you can be rich on 67. We have unbelievable stories about a couple that was working like crazy all day long for like 65 years, and then they get the pension, but the pension was so little they cannot afford to live a decent life. So they decide to come, and we start a process, and then super fast, they are 67, in 1 year and a half, boom, they become super wealthy. Or why someone would share this with me if it really works? And that's a stupid question, because I have 3 reasons to do that. I don't know Vishen, and I don't know Robert, but I have 2 reasons to do that. First, I love it. When you become wealthy, you start doing what you love. Secondly, it's a business. We can make money helping other people making money. So there is no conflict. If you make money, you're not taking money away from me. And why not sharing this information with the people? Third reason, this is my personal reason. I own 42 companies, and part of this company are made with my customers. So the customer, they come to seminar in Italy. For example, if I find some very good guy in real estate, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give the money to them so we can scale faster the real estate business. That's why not? I win They win and everybody wins. So it's a win-win situation. So my family think it's bullshit, and I have conflict with them making money. I have so many funny stories about that. One day, a guy came to my office, and he said, listen, I have a problem. I learned how to trade options, and I'm making 3,000 a month. Okay, so what's the problem? I have a job. I'm making 1,200 a month. And I said, what's your job? His job was putting a stamp in a bag. So the bag was coming, and he put a stamp on it. And for 8 hours a day, he put a stamp, and then when he get tired of putting the stamp with the right hands, put the stamp with the left hands. That's unbelievable. And I was listening to this guy, and I said, okay, when did you start doing that? I started when I was 14, because in Italy you can work from 14 years old. And now, how old are you? 31. So he did this job 8-9 hours a day, 5 days a week, putting stamp on a bags coming. That was a very unbelievable job. And I said, and so what's the problem about making 3,000 a month? And this guy watched at me and says, I would like to stop my daily job, but I'm not really confident on what I'm doing. And I said, how long are you making money, 3,000 a month? And he said, it's almost a year. So I checked his bank account, and I was looking his trading strategies. And I said, okay, it's a very good trading strategy. Why? And he started thinking, if I'm gonna leave my job, my girlfriend want to leave me, want to end the relationship. And I said, why? What's the job of your girlfriend? And he said, my girlfriend, she's a worker in a tortellini factory. Tortellini is a kind of pasta. So she working, making this tortellini. And I said, I was laughing, but I said, okay, so act first. So leave this lady immediately and find another one that will support your path. And I said, thank you. And I have another problem. Which one? And if I'm leaving the job, I have a lot of time. What I'm gonna do in this time? And you can read, you can learn something more, you can go to the gym, you can travel. Okay. And I have another problem. Which one? What I'm gonna say to my friends is my new job. Just do, how you call the, and put the name on it as I'm a trader. So trading, my name, surname, and I'm a trader. So, and that was very funny because sometimes family stuck us into a box, and we need to live the life as they want, not as we want. I have no money to invest. This is a very normal situation. I start from scratch, and I have money to invest. I didn't have the money to invest either, so at the beginning, so I start from scratch. But you can have time, you can have knowledge, and sometimes there are a lot of people that have money, but they don't have time, they don't have knowledge. So it's very easy to, once you understand how to do it, to link the two things together. But you need to have knowledge. And if you have no time and no money, that means you are doing the wrong things. But or you have a lot of money and no time, or you have no money and you have time. So the time is the most powerful resource, and you can do a lot of different things when you have money. Or I don't have the discipline. That's a problem. I don't have the discipline either. but you know, discipline comes to becoming successful. So once you become successful, when you start doing the first deal, real estate deal, or the first trade, or you start making or building your company, the discipline will come, because when you get excited about something, it's gonna be the right time to scale your business, to do more some trade, to learn more about this, to find another piece of real estate. And you know, I just got a message from two ladies. They were just a few minutes before starting this Zoom, and the two ladies was telling me, writing me about it's impossible to find a real estate with this discount with no money down in Milano. And I said, listen, I'm doing this job for 20 years. I have plenty of, it's impossible, it's impossible, it's impossible. And then, you know what happened? They find out the first deal. Now they are going to the real estate agents and do the first proposal. And as soon as they find the first deal, they already find another 2 deals. So now they have 3 deals in 1 week, and something happened in their mind. So they start seeing they can get the results also in a very big city with a lot of competition, because there are always a deal in real estate everywhere in the world. So it's very, very easy. And sometimes people come to me and they ask me how you make money. So basically, in order to make money, you need to have like a table, and the table is stable like his leg. More legs you have, more easy to have a big table. So the business, it's one of the leg. It's very, very easy to make money in the business once you understand the business. So understanding the leverage. Please, can you go on with the slide? Yeah. Next. Okay. And there is something on the next slide that is very important. Most of the people, can you go next? Okay. Most of the people are on the left side of the quadrant. So they are employee, or they are self-employee or small business owner. So if you have less than 50 employees, you are not a business owner. You are just a small self-employee, like a doctor, like a dentist. So why the rich people are on the right side? It's very easy, because they don't have leverage. If you are an employee and you are one, and you work, your time is 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. If you are an employee, self-employee, and you have an assistant, you have someone that help you with the work, you can leverage your time by 2, 3. But if a guy like me that has more than 250 employees, and in total I have more than 1,000 people that work with me, because I have people I employ, then I have some of my company as like a franchise. So we have the franchisee, they're working and making money, and I get a percentage of that money. So that means for 1 hour of my job, I have 250 hours of my employee. That means at the end of the day, my 10 hours, that because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm not working 8 hours, minimum, the 10 hours is gonna become times 8 for 200. It's gonna become like, I'm gonna say 2,000 hours a day. That's the reason why business owners, they build the right business with the right metrics, they become so rich and so successful. Because the business has the largest opportunity to scale. And you know what? If you are an investor, if you have money, you can buy business owner, you can buy self-employee, you can buy employee, and you can scale at the infinity way. So that's the reason why a lot of people like Warren Buffett, that everybody knows, is so wealthy, because he used the time of the other people buying Coca-Cola, buying McDonald's, and he get a part of the profit from that company. That's the reason why we need to become or business owner or investor. Also, if you like your job, I'm a teacher. I love to teach to child. Okay, you can be a teacher, but you need to become an investor or a business owner, because if you want to become wealthy, that's the only street you can take, because you cannot be wealthy in employee way. That's very, very interesting. So sometimes when you build a company, how many of you has a company? So try to write if you have a company, or I'm gonna check the yes. Listen, how many entrepreneur? Okay, yeah, 4, great. Company, 3 companies, great. No companies, okay. Then from Denmark, great. Small company, okay. So you are crazy like me, owning more than one company. Okay, so when you start to do the company, please, can you go to the next slide? No, for them, no. Okay. When I start the company, I want to be free. I have no boss. I want to be able to decide by myself. I want to earn a lot of money and very fast. And I want to lead, not to be led. And I want to do something for the next generation, for my child, for my daughter, for my son. And that's what I had in mind when I started my first company. But I don't know if that happened also to you, but that's become an headache. Next. That become an headache, because if you don't know how to run a company, you become a slave of the company. You become a supplier. So the supplier become your boss. The people, especially in the real estate, this is when you deal with these people, the supplier, they become your boss. The time you dedicate to the work is infinitive. Today I was talking with a guy with a very, very large company, 300 million plus, and he told me, I'm working 7 on 7. Yes, because it's not just my work, it's also my passion, and all the free time I have, I'm gonna stay in the office. You bring the office at home, so because if you're worried for something, these problems go to home, and is gonna be very a big problem. You work 7 on 7, and you know, the entrepreneur never really went on holiday, never. Also on Christmas, if you have some problems, you still keep thinking about the company. And some of the companies, sometimes your employee work less than you and they make more money than you. And you have all the responsibility. So how many of you here in the chat has the same problems? They were excited starting the company and then it became a nightmare. So tell me, yeah, yes, used to be. Yeah, look, yeah, it's very, I'm afraid of that. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm still totally me. Yeah, I used to. So that happened also to me. And it was very difficult, because when I started, I was owning a lot of company and I was not making money. I had so many problems, all kind, accounting problems, problem with the partner, not clear systems. That was very not. So some people says my accent in English is very clear, probably because they come from Italy. Thank you very much. So what's the consequence of that? What's the consequence of not learning how to become an entrepreneur or how to be an entrepreneur? Because I was born in a family where we know nothing about that. So, and I learned in the hardest way. So they are not university. So the consequence, 80% of the business fail within the first 3 years of the operation. Why? In my opinion, because they don't understand how to run a business. They don't do the budget. They don't have the cash plan. They don't understand the basic of the business. They are very good in doing something. They are very excited. Let's go and we open. I'm very good in doing cakes. Let's go and open a cakes company, or let's open a pastry, or let's open a bar. But making cakes and become an entrepreneur in a cake business is totally different things. So 90% of the business die and never arrive to the next generation. Just 3%. And remember now, there was 3% of the rich people of the population, 3% of entrepreneurs have a very good business that can born, grow, expand, scale year after year after year. Why? Because there is a recipe. And some of these people find the recipe. So I start studying a lot of these companies, and the biggest things you need to do is listen, become unuseful to your company. When you are unuseful to your company, you become a real entrepreneur. That means your company can grow, scale, and become a better business without you. And you want to know if you have a real company or you just bought a business. What's the difference? It's easy. Stay at home for 90 days. If your business is gonna grow or it's gonna stay steady, you have a real business. If not, you bought a business, and you bought a job. So basically you are an employee of your own company. And that is something we need to be fixed as fast as possible. That's really important. So let's see this small. If you think about this, look at the McDonald's, look at Ferrari company, look at Alfio Bardolla, or look at Mindvalley company. They are all the same. First, you need to understand money. You need to understand finances. You need to understand the budget. You need to understand the cash plan. Then you need to understand the marketing, how you communicate outside. What's your unique selling proposition? Then you need to find a way to attract potential customers. That if you have an online business, it's a lead generation. If you have an offline business, you have shops, you need to understand how to bring people inside your shop. Then you need to close the sales. So you need to sell your products. And I'm not talking about your product and your service, because I'm sure 100% you are very good on that. But then you need to get the money. So when you sell your product or service, and if you think Ferrari is the same, money, lead generation, marketing, sales. And there is also the leadership of the entrepreneur. You need to have a great team, a mission, a vision, but all the company are the same. Mindvalley, vision need to understand the numbers, the money. Then you need to understand the marketing, what's the unique selling proposition of Mindvalley. You need to generate leads, and you spend millions of dollars in generating leads. Then you need to close the sale. That can be an online sales, an offline sales, depends. And then you need to make a deliver of the product or service, collect the money, and restart. And you need to be a good leader in order to lead his employee, his team, the suppliers, and stuff like that. That's very important. So if you don't understand every piece of this circle, is going to be a huge problem. So a real entrepreneur understands, and he has KPI, key performance indicators, for every and each area. So you need to understand the KPI of financial, the marketing KPI, the lead generation KPI, the sales KPI. That is going to be really, really interesting. And if you think about activities and you think about your time, not all the activities are the same, and not all the activities has the same value for your time. Next slide. So for example, we need to focus on just 4 kinds of activities, what I call ultra high money value. So activities that if I do that, boom, I'm gonna change my financial life. So let's make an example. When I get public, boom, in just a few hours, I receive 20 million, 30 million on my bank account. So this changed my life, because from 0 to 20, 30 million on my bank account, that was a little bit different. Secondly, high money value stuff. So hiring a new sales guy, or finding a new HR director, or doing something that has a direct impact on making money. And then we have 2 other kinds of activities. The ultra high emotional value. We are not just here in order to make money. We want to make money to have a better life. And so we would like to have a better emotion. Just let me make an example. Making a world tour with my child, for me, was ultra high emotional value, because I take my child and I did the world tour in that way. And in this world tour, I also went to Vision office in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. That was a very cool stuff, but that was my dream. So taking my child around the world, because I always had this in my mind. I would love to go around the world, but unfortunately my parents was poor, so we cannot afford that, but I did it for my child. Or high emotional value stuff. For example, taking my son playing football. That was something that make me very happy, make me very proud, and having the time to do that, or having also the opportunity to help him to become the best he can, having the best trainers, having the best, and sometimes that can be bought just with money, just like the best education. So not all the time is equal. We just need to focus on these 4 activities: ultra high money value, ultra high emotional value, and high emotional value. So that's very interesting. We have a problem. When you have a company, sometimes an entrepreneur has these 3 kinds of different personalities. One is the technician. So sometimes I'm so good. At the moment, I'm a technician. I'm here talking with you because I'm a technician. I'm talking, and if I own a seminar business company, doing the seminar is a technical job. I can be a manager, so managing my company, telling the people what to do, or I can be a real entrepreneur. What does it mean? Dream. I need to dream big and build a real crystal clear vision about when I want to take my company. So first, vision. Second, find the money. We need to find the money to help our employee to go there. 3, remove all the problems and find a way to develop or make our company grow. So find new opportunity, build new relationship, stuff like that. So the real entrepreneur is the guy that dream and write a crystal clear vision, then find the money. 3, remove all the problems and all the block that can be in the company. So the work of the entrepreneur is not work in the business, is working on the business. So we need to understand how we can run the company. That's the reason why I own 42 companies. If I don't have other people that can run my company, a chief operating officer, they have an accountant, more than one CFO, because I have two different kind of CFO, one of listed public company, one for my holding. But if I don't have this kind of people and I don't give them a crystal clear vision, I'm gonna have problems, because I cannot run all the companies. I don't have enough time in a day. And why some people become so successful with the same time? Because they are focusing on ultra high money problems or ultra high emotional problems and so they can live a better life and a fulfilled life. So we need to work on the business, not in the business. Next. Okay, so we have different kind of business cycles. So if you have a new company, you are in infancy situation, sometimes you need to do the technician. So when I started my first real estate business, I need to go find the property, talk to the bank, get the money, and stuff like this. So when the business is small or just started, it depends on the entrepreneur, it depends on me. Then you need to get rid as fast as you can from this phase of the company. You need to go to a more mature company. So when you become more mature, you become like a manager. So you send this out, you do that. So you will start looking from another perspective. Then you need to become a real entrepreneur. It's when the adult came. So I'm not going into the process, I'm not going into detail, I'm not going to daily operation. I set up the vision. I want to become the #1 in financial education. Okay, then I need to find the right people that can help me to fulfill my vision. Then I need to find the money, and then I need to keep the people on track on my vision. That is the real work of entrepreneur. Sometimes, because I love that, I'm doing also technician. So I go on stage and talk to the people and try to be as much impactful as I can. So I think this is very, very important. Next. So let me talk about a little bit about trading, because I'm a very strange guy, because I have a lot of knowledge in real estate thanks to Robert Allen, and I have a lot of knowledge also in trading. I won the world champion, trading
Alfio,
world champion.
Alfio, just a quick question, because I know there's so much that you're going to be sharing on trading. Before, there are many people over here who would love to know about the seminar that we're doing in London together. Maybe I can give people information on the seminar, and then after that, you could give this bonus content on trading. Would that work?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, because we asked people to commit to 2 hours, and I really want to respect your time. And if you have to leave at the end of 2 hours and you want to see this bonus content on trading, which is understanding how to make money and how to know how to think about stocks, investing, crypto, and so on, we'll get the recording available to you. Okay, but now let me tell you about the event that we're doing in London. So so many of you guys have attended Mindvalley events before, and you know how incredible these events are. And we decided to do something which is along the lines of topic-specific events. The very first one we did was on artificial intelligence, AI, and it was amazing. We had about 104,000 people sign up for a 3-day event on AI, and it was 4 hours a day for 3 days. Now, we thought we wanted to go bigger. So the next big topic that we noticed that our users were really excited about was basically money, wealth generation. Because of the unpredictability of the world today, we wanted to explore 3 different aspects of wealth. So we're putting on an event, and you can attend live in London, or you can join us on Zoom. So you don't have to fly to London. It's happening, mark this date down, November 17, 18, 19. And normally when you buy a ticket for a 3-day event, which is on a topic like wealth, ticket prices could be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, because this is hardcore education, right? Hardcore education. We're going to go deep into actually teaching you the methodologies for buying real estate with no money down, understanding when to rent, when to buy, how to make money from your real estate. That's day 1. Day 2 is all about trading, knowing exactly how to not make the mistake that regular people make when they are investing in stocks, how to diversify your asset classes, how to know how to get timing right, how to prevent emotions from taking control of you when it comes to investing. Warren Buffett said, most people don't understand investing because they operate based on the emotions of the herd. Buffett and his team, they buy opposite to how the herd reacts, right? So one of the things, that's day 2. Now, day 3, Alfio gave you a tip, is going to be on automating your business. And like many Mindvalley events, we are also bringing in incredible guest speakers. So we have Paul McKenna coming to teach. And Paul McKenna is the #1 hypnotherapist in the world and the #1 best-selling non-fiction author in the United Kingdom. The #1 fiction author, of course, is J.K. Rowling. Paul McKenna is the #2 best-selling non-fiction author in the United Kingdom. So let me give you an idea of this event so you guys can decide if you want to attend. And at the end of this, I'm also going to give you the free gift that I promised you guys for showing up. So firstly, I want to start with just showing you some of the incredible client stories that people have had from attending this event. Now, this event is not new. Alfio and Robert Allen started doing this in Italy for an Italian audience. Alfio would speak in his beautiful Italian accent, Robert would speak in English, and everything would be shared on screen. And I attended their event in March this year, and I was just really impressed. And one of the things that impressed me was the sheer number of client stories. People talking about closing multiple deals, people seeing their rental income jump from 15% to 200%, people literally developing recurring income of $12,000 a month. Carlo made his first transaction, $60K. Francesco made $58,000. Raffaello has done 10 real estate deals. Notice these are mostly Italian because the event was primarily for an Italian audience. So I sat down with Alfio and Robert, and I said, guys, I really want to bring this to the English-speaking world. Can we do a partnership with Mindvalley? We'll bring in our event production experience. You bring in the knowledge and the education. And we make the price really affordable to everyone. And we also broadcast it on Zoom because our audience is so diverse. And so that is what is happening. Now you can see from the case studies here how effective their training is. I was basically at the event. I was sitting in the VIP section and I was chatting with other people, and I was really impressed by their stories. Like this guy, Fabio, closing a deal with revenues exceeding 1 million. Sergio, profit of 150,000 with no money up front. Mauro is now making a living entirely from trading. Fernando, I made over 1,000% profit. Now, these are all from real estate, trading, and business automation. Ettore made more than 1 million in less than 2 years. All of these are in euros, by the way. Euros, okay? So now, first off, let me give you that free gift that I promised for staying, and then I'm going to tell you about London, okay? So all of you who signed up, we're going to give you a PDF version of one of Robert's books. It's called The 4 Maps of Happy, Successful People. So Robert doesn't just believe in speaking about making money. He loves spreading the philosophy and the mindset of being joyful, being healthy, being in full energy, having complete vitality as you're getting rich. I remember going on a trip to Colombia with Robert, and this man is in his freaking 70s, and he has the energy of a 27-year-old. It's amazing. So we're going to send you a free copy of this book, The 4 Maps of Happy, Successful People, as a thank you for investing the last 1 hour and 43 minutes with us. Okay, now let's talk about the Financial Freedom Summit. I'm going to give you all the information so you can decide if you want to join us on Zoom. So it's going to be 8 hours a day for 3 days, September 17 to 19. You'll have to take Friday off, or you can actually fly to London. Whether you watch it on Zoom or you show up in London, it is the same price. That's just how Alfio and Robert run their organization. This is a quick trailer, so you get an idea of what to expect.
Welcome to the stage. Watch me when I demonstrate this. What's a featherweight to a renegade? You gotta make it to the city lights. Listen, no, think about my lane. That's the biggest fight. Write it down. You gotta deal with it. Never lie. True vibe. I keep it real with it. Trust that. Get it back. It's like I'm filtering. Please don't spit the dirt. I'm in the field with it. Yeah, I'm trying to demonstrate something. No more rules. Stay my ground. Don't run. Do the pain coming first. Get it done.
Okay, so these are the 4 speakers that we are putting together. And again, you can attend in London or on Zoom. Now, this is the pricing for the event. We're giving a special pricing for those of you who are here at the webinar. It's $349. That's it. So it's a very, very, very small investment relative to what you learn. So you can attend virtually on Zoom. It's $349. But, we love bringing communities together. So we hope you can come to London. And that's why we're making the live event price the same as the Zoom price. What happens in London is that there's networking opportunity. You're going to get to meet other people in the audience. And it's a whole different experience being live with the speakers on stage. You absorb more, there's less distraction, and you just learn more. I traveled all the way to Rimini, Italy to attend this seminar live, as busy as I am. And then there's also a VIP option. And in the VIP option, we actually, because I know many of you, as you guys are learning, you want to be on your laptop. You want to be able to type in information. You want to be able to get online. You want to be able to check stock pricing. So you get a dedicated desk and workspace right at the front, whereas the teachers are on stage. You get fast track reservation, and then we're going to have a lunch. You're all invited for a lunch with me, Robert Allen, and Alfio. So that's the VIP ticket, and you guys can get that too. So if you buy a ticket, it's $349. If you buy a ticket in the next 24 hours, because we want to encourage early bird sales, this helps us fund the event. It helps us know that we are moving in the right direction. If you buy a ticket in the next 24 hours, we're also going to give you 2 really beautiful bonuses. You're going to get Robert's other book, The Challenge. So this is really cool. Robert did a challenge where he said, put me in a unemployment line. Let me pick random people from the unemployment line and coach them for 90 days, and I will put them back on their feet and show them how to make money. And this book talks about that. In 90 days, he took random people from an unemployment line and showed them how to make money. And not only make money, I'm not talking about getting a job at KFC. He made them entrepreneurs, so they never had to work again. Crazy, right? And it shows that it's not about where you're starting from. It's about, are you committed? These people in the unemployment line, they were committed. They had families to feed. They had rent that were overdue. If they didn't solve this rent problem, they were going to be kicked out. They were committed, but they didn't have money in the bank. But Robert, as long as you're committed, he can give you the tools and the knowledge to make money. Now, bonus 2 is we're going to give you Robert's 50 nothing down techniques. If you're really excited about buying property with nothing down, and this is a wild prospect, guys. It's about how to negotiate with people who are desperate to sell their property. Roughly 7% of people who own property around the world, in the Western world, have difficulty paying back the bank loan, and they're desperate to sell the property. And Robert shows you how to negotiate with them. So you get the property, they make money, and you make money. That's how he was able to buy property in that Fox News challenge for 7 properties in 3 days with less than $100. And this is not just a workbook, it's a seminar in itself. It's a 6-hour online seminar, you'll get these recordings so that you can learn how to do this. You can learn this in 6 hours flat. Now, to make this an easy decision for you, we're going to give you 30% off your ticket. So earlier I said 349, but look, we're going to bring it down to 245 if you buy your ticket in this week. So it's 245, and we're going to give you a special discount code for that. And it's 245 whether you want to attend on Zoom or you want to show up in London. If you've never been to a Mindvalley event, you should know that the energy of our events is through the roof. It's a very unique experience. So I encourage you to come to London. We pick London because it's a really beautiful city and it's an extremely accessible city. And you can get a VIP seat for just $525. Again, super affordable. That's where you can get your ticket. So I want you to take out your camera right now. Just take a picture of that. And remember, if you buy the next 24 hours, you get Robert's 6-hour program on buying property with no money down. And you get Robert's book, The Challenge, as a thank you bonus for trusting in us and acting soon. Now, of course, we know you need to check your calendar. We know some of you might need to see if you can get Friday off. Don't worry about that. If you buy the ticket and for any reason, okay, you can't make it, the ticket is transferable. You can give it as a gift to a friend. You can sell it to a friend. It's not tied to your name. So we do reserve the seat, but the ticket is transferable to anyone else. So you can even buy these for your friends or for your family members if you feel this is going to be of great benefit to them. Now, one of the biggest reasons people don't attend events like this is because in the event industry, there are events like this which are nothing but sales pitches. And we do not like those events, and this is not an event like that. Robert and Alfio do have a mastermind group, and they will tell you about it, but that's out of 8, 16, 24 hours of training. You'll maybe hear about that for 40 minutes, right? It's hardcore knowledge. It's hardcore delivery. It is so applicable that you cannot help but leave this event with a whole new mindset on how to make, keep, and multiply money. So again, take a picture of that QR code and I'll see you there. The price is so affordable. It's an absolute no-brainer. So Alfio, back to you.
Cannot wait to see you. Thank you very much. And I cannot wait to see you in London. So let me talk a little bit fast about trading.
Okay.
Trading is a very unbelievable...
Alfio, just before you go there, let me just set, I just want to make sure that we answer people's questions. Okay. And then guys, if you want to stay back, we're going to give you a bonus 30 minutes with Alfio where you're going to learn about an overview of trading, right? At the event, of course, we're going to go deep into trading, but we'll give you an overview of trading. So I want to just, Alfio, give me a few minutes and maybe Robert could come on as well. I'd love to have some of the questions answered. So the first thing is, Alfio, at this event on day one, how deep are we going to go into real estate?
We are going to go deep a lot because we want the people that came out from the event that can understand the real estate environment. They can understand how to do a real estate in Spain, in Italy, in Japan, in US, in UK. So really, the people that are going to be on stage are the number one because probably they're going to join also some local people. But, you know, when I start doing real estate, the principles are the same worldwide. So if you are in Italy, if you're in Spain, if you go to Dubai, it's slightly different, but the principles are the same worldwide. So that it's gonna, once you change your mindset, you can find a very nice real estate deal everywhere. With no money down, with little money. If you have a lot of money, it's okay, it's always easier. But most of the people, also if you have 10 million euro or $10 million in the real estate is nothing. So you always need to find the way to do no money down deal. Because once you grow your portfolio, for example, at the moment I have 56 million euro, that is roughly 60 million US. portfolio in real estate, you always run out of the money.
Yeah.
So
So-
that's the reality.
So I can tell you guys, just as an example, I learned so much about real estate in day one of Alfio's event in Rimini. I changed my philosophy. I was buying a property for my family, right? So I just bought my mom and my dad a beautiful one-bedroom apartment in Europe. So when they come to visit me, they had a place to stay. And I realized that was a bad mistake. How I changed my strategy is, rather than just buying an apartment that I emotionally liked, I started looking for sellers who were desperate to sell. Remember the 7% rule? And then I looked at apartments where, because I could get them for a rate that was less than what the market was going for, immediately I could flip them and I could make 10 to 20%. But in that 1 year before I flipped them, I would Airbnb them and I would make another 10%. I completely changed my real estate strategy. Now, in day two, we went into trading. And that's when I understood how I was making such bad decisions in terms of my timing, in terms of when I bought and when I sold stocks. So give us an idea, Robert, Alfio, how deep do we go into trading on day two?
I think we're going to go very deep into trade, but when you will see my presentation in the next few minutes, you're going to understand that there is statistics and the trading is a very precise job. And you know, sometimes people come to me and they told me, why are you making so much money and Warren Buffett do 10, 15, 20%, and you're making perhaps a huge number. It's very easy because we don't manage millions. We manage 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 2 million, but we don't manage billions. When you are like Ray Dalio, you know, in order to go into a Ray Dalio funds, you need to have 7.5 billion assets. So just the big, huge company or the government, they can go into a Ray Dalio hedge fund. But this is the reality. If we are very fast going in, going out, we can take advantage if the market is moving up, if the market is moving down, and also if the market goes sideways. So, for example, everybody heard the bad news about what's going on in Israel, Palestine, and stuff like that. But this bad news are tradable, and I made money on the oil, the petrol going up, going down, and you need to understand what's going on in the market, especially in this environment that is very volatile. So you can really easily understand what's going on the market, especially with this bad situation. That we cannot do anything about it, but we can trade it. We can understand that the oil is going up for the problems in that region.
That's amazing. So I want to learn that. That's really, really, really cool. Okay, and I want to be clear. You are teaching that in London. It's You're going that. We're going to learn that in London. It's not like you have to buy another product to learn that. You're learning that in London. You're teaching that in London. Yes. Okay. So that's good, right? Because we are really serious about ensuring that you get incredible value for the price that you're paying, which is around 200 something. Now, several people are asking, are we going to have recordings available? We were not thinking about it, but I think I'm going to make that decision now. So team, let's make sure we get recordings available. One person posted in the chat, I can attend Friday, Saturday, but I may not be able to attend on Sunday. So don't worry about that. What we'll do is we're looking at your feedback. 5 people have asked for recordings, so we will make that available. So if you attend this event, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, perhaps it's family day, we will get you those recordings, okay? But it's going to be 8, 16, 24 hours of content. And that's why it's really important to clear up that time. Now, 24 hours isn't a big deal. Remember, that's how much you work in 3 days. The average person works in 3 days. But rather than just continuously working, to earn a money and then not knowing how to make that money multiply. Here you're going to learn how to make every single freaking dollar you've earned thus far and are going to earn in the future, make more dollars for you.
We're going to teach you as much as we possibly can in 3 days. People will go to 4 years of university, go in debt $200,000 or $300,000, and not have financial freedom. Spend 3 days with us. We'll teach you more in those 3 days than you'll learn in an entire 4 years going to get a job. Obviously, we're going to share with you as much as we possibly can. You know why?
Right.
Because we want to create success stories. Yes, we do earn money from doing this. People are always skeptical about that. But the reason we do it is because we create success stories. And we've shared thousands of them with our students throughout the years. It's your turn. You can make this happen for yourself. So don't miss it. You'll love it.
Now, a couple of you are asking, where can I get the free PDF? We're going to send you an email. When you registered for this webinar, everyone is going to get an email. And in that email, we will give you the free PDF of Robert's book. Okay, you don't have to buy anything. It's completely free. We want to introduce you to Robert's mind and his beautiful work. And for those of you who buy the ticket for the event, you will get another email. Again, this is if you buy the ticket in the next 24 hours, you'll get another email with the 6 hour of how to buy property with no money down, that 6 hour course from Robert. And then you will get his other book, The Challenge. So you're actually going to get 2 books and a 6 hour course. Now, guys, tell me about day 3. Day 3 is when we talk about business building. Tell us about what's going to be covered then. We're going to talk about not just building a business, of course, but creating passive streams of income.
Yes, creating a business and scale the business is an ability that can be learned, and it's very important, especially if you have the responsibility of many of your employees, or you want to scale your business, or you want to systematize business because you understand you are working too much and getting out from your business too little. So it's a very great information. It's something that cost me a lot of mistakes, a lot of time, a lot of pain, a lot of money. And but at the end, I think I find the recipe to scale, the recipe to have financial freedom from building companies. And I already start a small venture capital. So I help other companies to do the same directly. So I can make some money also. But I can also help them to scale. And when you take a company with 5, 10 people, and you take them to 50, to 100 people, that is where the biggest value for the community come from. Because you can help your country, you can help, and at the end, the GDP, it's how many companies they can scale, they can grow, and they can change the life of many people. Because you need to see and you need to watch the companies as an environment where there is people that go to school, the child, where you feed family, where people pay the mortgage. So if you help a company to become more wealthy, all this is going to be is going to have a huge impact on the society. And I think the environment can be very, very interesting. If you see the wheel we take before, we can go deep and understand more the financials. And once you understand the cash plan, it's the basic of understanding if your company is going to have problems. And if you understand in 3 months I'm going to have problems, you can try to figure out what's the problem are and how to fix it. But if you don't understand the financial. Yeah,
Alfio, thank you so much. We are exactly at the end of the dedicated period. I really like to respect people's times, but I also love and adore the fact that you're giving an extra 30 minutes to people, 20 to 30 minutes to talk about trading. So for those of you who want to stay back, Alfio is going to take you through that. I can't wait to see you guys in London. I'm personally going to be there. Paul McKenna is going to be a special guest speaker. Those of you who get VIP tickets, we'll all be having lunch together. And London is a beautiful place to be in November, one of my favorite cities in the world. So I can't wait to see you guys there. Guys, I have to log off. It's pretty late here where I am. and I'm going to leave you with Alfio.
Ciao, Vishan. Bye. So let me talk briefly about trading. What does it mean to trade? Trading means to stay in front of a computer and see if something is going up or down. Have you ever seen the film usually during the Christmas with Eddie Murphy and Danny Aykroyd talking about commodities? And that's it's a very brilliant film because it's gonna give you the excitement and the feeling of what is trading. Trading is to give liquidity to a market. And why is so important? Mi ripetti le chat così riesco a vederle? Sorry. And why it's so important? Because there are techniques for earning money and quickly, and they are accessible to everyone. So we do it from more than 20 years. We have so many successful stories about how to trade. Let me go on. Let me give some information that can be easily understood by everyone. Of course, this is not Trading Place is the movie. Yes, thank you very much, because in Italy, the translation is very different. Trading is a democratic tool. You can make money from everywhere. We have a lot of people, they love to do kite surfing. They love, no, we don't use a special software, but we use a special information tools. Then you can use software. Of course, we're gonna give you some information, but the important is to understand what's going on and understand the environment. So first, what are the rules to become a great trader? One, can you go on next slide? Yep. Okay, next rule to become a great trader. Next. Okay, so as you see, the first rule is the ability to follow the rules of the strategy. So what we are gonna give you? We are gonna give you strategies. Once you will follow the strategy, you will get results. So that's the reason why the second most important thing is to having a daily routine, because you need to apply systematically once a week, every day, depends on the system. Then you need to manage the risk properly. What does it mean? I mean, I don't need, sorry, a great leader, Cazzo. They make a mistake, a great trader. Okay, we see I think, I don't know, many people watch this slide. We didn't see it. So, we need to manage the risk, because we want to make a lot of money, but we want to risk little money. And we need to diversify. And diversify means we're not putting all the eggs in one, so not in one trade, but we need to have more than c'è qualcuno che mi prende, yeah. So let's go to the next slide. This is an example. This is a company that give this kind of research, and is a seasonality. What does it mean? Well, it means for some reason, we don't know why, and we don't care, that in the last 15 years, something has almost been the same. So if you look at this chart, you will see lean hogs buying lean hogs on June and selling lean hogs December. And so that means is a spread. So a spread is a combination of two different trades. They are placed in the same moments. And for some reason, in the last 15 years, if you check on the right below, 15 years, No, please go, yeah. In the last 15 years, you will see 14 times out of 15, we made money. Why? Who cares? Who cares? But we make money. So we go into this website, Moon Research, we look at the seasonality, and we say, okay, let's do the trade. Let's set up the trade. The 2507, so 25 of July, we enter the position, and then by the 4th of November, we're gonna go out and we're gonna make some money. That's very, you see, it's very precise and it's very easy. You search for that, you look, if we check the graph of this, next please. Next, yeah. If you check the graph, we enter, and the enter and the exit. And this is precisely when we buy and when we came out. There is no things. So if it happened for 14 times out of 15, we made money. So it's probable that next year is going to be the same? Yes. We are going to make money for sure? No. But we have high probability of making money. Let's search another one. Let's see next. This is corn. It's a trade that started the 15th of July. You can see in the last 15 years, this trade always made money, always. And we end the trade the 3rd of August, and we make $412 per contract. So for every contract of corn, we made this kind of money. It's not only one trade a year. This is there are multiple. So you can take 5, 10 trades a month. That's the reason why we were talking about diversification, and it's quite easy to do it. This is trading the US commodities market. Yes, the CBOT, Chicago board, yeah. And so, but you can trade from everywhere. Everywhere you are in the world, you can easily trade with the big company. So that's really really interesting. Very, very interesting. So what you see now, look at the graph, the last slide. This is next, please. This is not the full story, no? Just to give you an example of, can you go back one? This is just an example on how you can systematize trading, and without thinking, it's gonna go up, it's gonna go down. No, we'll look at the statistics. What happened the last 15 years? It always happened that, yes, so let's do it again. So every month we check which are the seasonality, and we start to do a trade. That's very easy. What's the secret of the success? Easy. You still be in the business. As long as you stay and you have the statistic and the probability on your side, you're gonna make money. So thank you very much to be with me. Yes, so we are gonna cover option trading, not at the seminar because it's too complex, but we have advanced seminars. And there is a lot of platforms, and we're going to explain everything in London. That seminar was just, the webinar was just to give you, I can make money from home, trading corn, trading oil, trading currencies. That's it's easy. This graph, it's more research, and you can check for seasonality. Is good for beginners, is good for advanced people, is good for everybody. So thank you very much. Thank you very much to Mindvalley for this great opportunity. Thank you very much, Robert Allen, and I hope to see you everybody, and we hope to have a lunch with you in London. Ciao. Thank you.